Firstly, this video is predominantly for men and women likely in their 20s and 30s for which retirement feels a long way off. Let's be honest, when you hear early retirement, you probably think of two things: winning the lottery or being a tech billionaire. It's a nice fantasy, right? A life of total freedom, quickly followed by the crushing reality of your next credit card bill. But what if I told you there's a proven path to quit the 9 to 5, maybe even decades ahead of schedule, and you don't need a single lucky number? In this video, we're breaking down the real math and the actual strategies that normal people just like you and I, are using to reach financial independence and retire really early. And it all starts with a simple mindset shift that will completely change how you see your money. The mindset shift, redefining retirement. Before we dive into any spreadsheets, we have to talk about the biggest thing holding you back, your own brain. The whole idea of early retirement feels impossible because we've been conditioned to think about it all wrong. We see retirement as an age, 60, 65, even 67 or 68 if you're unlucky, a finish line that's so far away, it feels pointless to even think about it. But what if retirement isn't an age at all? What if it's just a number, a specific amount of money in your investment account, and that's it? This is the core idea of the financial independence, retire early or FIRE movement. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about methodically, systematically designing a life where work becomes optional. The goal isn't to just stop working so you can sit on a beach all day, although you probably could. It's about having the absolute freedom to choose what you do with your time. Maybe that's pursuing a passion project, starting a business you've already dreamed of, or just having more time to spend with your family. One of the biggest myths is that you'll lose your purpose without a job. But let's be real, did your employer hand you a purpose along with your employment contract? Probably not. Purpose is something you build yourself. Early retirement is about giving yourself the financial runway to build a life around what actually matters to you, not just what pays the bills. Successful early retirees don't just have a financial plan, they have a life plan. They ask themselves the most important question: what am I retiring to? Not just, what am I retiring from? And this isn't some sort of pie in the sky dream. We're talking about nurses, project coordinators, and other people with normal jobs who decided their freedom was worth more than a new car or a fancy vacation. They didn't have six-figure salaries, but they had a discipline and a belief that it was possible and they needed to make it happen. So the first step isn't looking at your bank account in despair. It's truly believing that this is possible for you. The freedom number, the math behind early retirement. Okay, so if your mindset shifted, good. Now let's get to the fun part, the numbers that make this whole thing real. How much money do you actually need to call it quits? The FIRE community has this down to a science, and it starts with something called the 25 times rule. This is your first big target. Now here's how it works. First, figure out your estimated annual expenses in retirement and be brutally honest with yourself. Track your spending now, and once you have made that yearly number, you multiply it by 25. For example, if you're retiring in the US and you think you can live comfortably on $40,000 a year, your freedom number is $1 million. That's 40,000 times by 25. If you need $60,000 a year, your target is 1.5 million. The number is the amount you need invested to be financially independent. So Why 25? It's directly connected to another famous rule, the 4% rule. This rule suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio in your first year of retirement and then adjust for inflation every year after, with a very high chance your money lasting for at least 30 years. Now, see how that works? If you have a $1 million portfolio, 4% of that is $40,000, your annual expenses. The math just clicks. The 25 times rule tells you how much to save, and the 4% rule tells you how to spend it. But, and this is the big but, the 4% rule was designed for a standard 30-year retirement. If you want to retire early, say in your 40s, your retirement could last 50 years. So because of this, a lot of early retirees play it safer. They might use a more conservative 3.5% or even 3% withdrawal rate. A 3% rate means you'd use a 33 times rule instead of 25 times. So for that same 40,000 US dollars a year, your target becomes about $1.32 million. It's a bigger hill to climb, but it gives you a much bigger safety net. Now, I know these sound like telephone numbers, but having a concrete goal is incredibly empowering. Your dream just went from someday maybe to a real, measurable target that you can start aiming for today. If you're finding this useful and want more real-world financial strategies, do yourself and me a favour and hit the subscribe button. I try and put out new videos every single week to help you get clarity and control over your financial life, especially if you're thinking about moving abroad and becoming an expat. Now let's look at the acceleration engine. Earn more, spend less. In my previous example, you've got your freedom number. The next logical question is, how in the world am I supposed to save $1 million+ on my salary? This is where we build your acceleration engine. The speed of your journey to financial freedom comes down to one single metric, your savings rate. Your savings rate is just a percentage of your income you manage to save and invest. A typical financial advisor might tell you to save 15% for a normal retirement at 65. To retire decades early, FIRE followers aim way higher. We're talking about 50% to 75% of their income. Yeah. Now, before you click away, that's not as impossible as it sounds. It's done with a simple two-part strategy: slash your spending and boost your income. Let's start with spending, because you can control that right now. This isn't about being a cheapskate or living a life of misery. It's about intentional spending. It's about looking at your budget and ruthlessly cutting the things that don't bring you real value. For most of us, the biggest money sinks are the big three: housing, transportation, and food. Hitting these hard gives you the biggest wins. Maybe that means house hacking, renting out a room or a unit in your property. Maybe it's trading in a brand new car for a reliable used one, or just mastering a few killer home meals. Every dollar you don't spend is a dollar you can invest to literally buy your freedom. Of course, you can only cut so much. The other side of the coin is cranking up your income. This could be anything from negotiating a raise, learning new skills to land a higher paying job, or starting a side hustle. But here's the trick. Every extra dollar you earn from that side hustle doesn't go into a lifestyle upgrade. It goes directly into your investments. This is how you avoid lifestyle creep. That sneaky habit of spending more as you earn more. That's the trap that keeps people stuck in the rat race forever. By combining a higher income with low expenses, you create a huge gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is your acceleration engine. The bigger the gap, the higher your savings rate, and the faster you'll hit your freedom number. Now let's look at the growth machine, investing for early retirement. Okay, you've optimized your spending and you're saving a huge chunk of your income. The final piece of the puzzle is putting that money to work. Now, let me be clear, you cannot save your way to early retirement, not in a regular bank account. You must invest so that your money starts working for you through the magic of compound growth. This is your growth machine. For most people in the FIRE movement, the investment strategy is refreshingly simple. Low cost, diversified index funds or ETFs, exchange traded funds. You do not need to be a stock picking wizard. The goal isn't to beat the market, it's to be the market and let compounding do all the heavy lifting. A simple 3-fund portfolio, for example, gives you exposure to the entire US stock market, international stocks and bonds for incredibly low fees. Where you invest is just as important as what you invest in. You have to be tax efficient. This means maxing out your tax advantaged retirement accounts. In America, start with your job's 401k, especially if there's an employer match that is literally free money. Same thing in the UK. Pension contributions that are matched by your employer. For every pound that you invest, your employer matches it. Free money. Yes, please. Then open an individual retirement account, an IRA, or an ISA in the UK. And don't forget the Healthy Savings Account, the HSA in America, which has a triple tax advantage that makes it a secret weapon for retirement savings. Here's the key difference for early retirees though. You'll need money before you turn 59 and a half. That's the age when you can typically access traditional retirement accounts without penalty. In the US or in the UK, usually 50 for personal pensions, can be a higher age for occupational schemes. You need to check with your pension trustees. So this is why you also need a good sized portfolio in a regular, taxable or tax efficient brokerage account. Having money in different account buckets, like ISAs, for example, tax efficient in the UK, gives you the flexibility you need to fund the early years of your retirement before your pensions kick in. The strategy itself is dead simple. Automate everything. Set up automatic transfers and direct debits from your paycheck straight into your investment accounts. This takes emotion and guesswork out of the equation. You invest the same amount of money every month, no matter what the market is doing. This is called pound cost averaging or dollar cost averaging, and it is the most reliable way to build serious wealth over the long haul. I did it, it worked, trust me. If you don't believe me, believe Warren Buffett. This combination, a huge savings rate plus consistent automated investing in low cost funds, is the engine that will power you to your freedom number. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Time rather than timing. So, is it really possible to retire early without a lottery ticket? Absolutely. But it's not a get-rich-quick fantasy. And it is not for everyone. It is a conscious choice. It's about shifting your mindset to see retirement as a financial number, not an age. It's about calculating your freedom number, using the 25 times rule. It's about building your acceleration engine by widening the gap between what you earn and what you spend to hit a massive savings rate. And it's about firing up your growth machine by consistently investing your savings for the longer term. Retiring early is not about luck. It's about having a plan. And now you have a blueprint. The journey takes discipline, no doubt, but the reward is the greatest prize that there is. The freedom to live your life completely on your own terms. I've done it, and I sincerely believe that the vast majority of people with discipline can do exactly what I've done and follow in my footsteps. Now, what about you? Are you on the path to financial independence? What's the biggest hurdle that you're facing right now? Drop a comment below. I really do try and read all of them. And if this video gave you a new way to think about your future, be sure to subscribe for more content that puts you in control of your money. Thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy.